Hey, you guys. Man, do a quick video on something that everyone from every belief should always keep in mind at all times. Take Pentecostals and Trinitarians for an example. You got two guys who both went to a church their whole life, believe they're taught the truth from day one, will use the Bible to defend their position, and both will swear that they have the truth. And the other guy is a heretic. What is the difference between these two people? There isn't one. They just have different beliefs. When they study the text, and it really seemed they were taught something to believe first, and then they were taught the text. What also do they both have in common? They're unteachable. And I think that is the real problem with 99% of people. They cannot understand that everyone in this game of theology and ideas and philosophy believes they're right. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't be saying it or teaching it to other people or posing the questions that they do. That's what I'm getting at. Don't become unteachable. If you cannot examine the evidence of another position with no emotions attached to it, you're unteachable. If the mere fact someone asks a question that challenges you on some very deeply held beliefs, if it's done in a respectful way, and you become unhinged and totally crazy, you're unteachable. You just happen to be one of those lucky people who went to the right church with the right pastor with the exactly right philosophy and theology, the exactly correct translation of the Bible, surrounded by exactly another group of people who are perfectly right, and there's just no way they could be wrong. That's what everyone thinks when they're dishonest with themselves. There's a whole world out there. It's bigger than any one of us, and if we don't expose ourselves to these ideas and gauge them against the truth that we do understand in our own opinion, then you never will come to a place of a higher understanding or a higher learning. And I will tell you, the Pharisees were in this class of people. And if you have a lot in common with the Pharisees, including accusing Jesus of things and just not listening to anyone, then you might want to take a look at yourself. Because that is, I don't even know how to put that into words. I mean, if you are a Pharisee, if you are someone who is right because of the traditions that have been handed down from you from the beginning, then I don't think there is any hope for you as far as learning anything. You have to agree with it first, and then you'll learn it. Pharisees and Sadducees were very much the same way, weren't they? They denied the teachings of Christ because they had the truth. There was no need. The world was no bigger than their synagogue. And if your world is no bigger than what goes on at the First and Third Street Pentecostal Apostolic Church of the Holy Trinity of Ultra Power and Full Living Gospel Waters of Life Church, then it's a shame. Let's face it. These are things that you have to consider because there is ample evidence that the Trinity was not taught in the Bible. It wasn't taught. So by your own admission, you have to go to someone else's teachings to formulate the Trinity. Same thing with apostolic oneness belief. These were later formulations that aren't very hard to find. If you just read the Bible and you've been told this is how you interpret the Bible, and you refuse to look at history or anything else that brings evidence to bear and clarity, then you're unteachable. And I'm not saying I'm the teacher. I'm not saying anything like that. What I am saying is that you need to examine a position and remove your emotions from it. When you're emotionally invested in a position, you will say the most outrageous things. I know Unitarians, I know Trinitarians, I know oneness people, and all these people that have left one belief and formed another, they all say the same thing. They said some of the craziest stuff because they were emotionally invested in their position. And I guess to an extent you should be, but it's like being in a marriage, you know? You can't settle debates and reach a consensus and an understanding based on evidence when you're emotionally invested in being right. I don't care if I'm right. The only reason I'm where I'm at now is because I've admitted I was wrong on a lot of things. And I just studied them. I didn't invest myself and say, well, Jesus is God. Now I'm going to read this Unitarian argument and I'm going to know that Jesus is God. And if you're reading an argument or listening to an argument just so you can disagree with it, then go watch a debate. Because that's what happens at debates. That's what happens at seminary. All these people have their belief when they go in, and all these people have the same belief when they come out. Examine the truth without your emotions attached. That's what it means to study the scriptures daily. It means to look at the words and weigh the evidence. Do you think Paul was yelling at people through emotion and just saying, you know, you got to believe Jesus is the Christ, you got to believe Jesus? He was proving it to them from their own scriptures that Jesus was the Christ. He used evidence. And I'm sure he was a convincing speaker. I'm sure he was very effective. But the bottom line is, and look at what they did to him. They beat him. They stoned him and threw him over the walls. These were people who were so emotionally invested in their position that it was blasphemous to say that the Messiah had come and that their understanding of the law might need to be changed. They couldn't accept it. And I would say to you, Trinitarians and others that hold to this belief and make these stupid comments on these videos, and they are stupid, and I'm going to say it, when all you do is condemn people, all you are is the Pharisees. You are the Pharisees of Jesus' time. You're doing the same thing. Someone's bringing a teaching to you that's been around from the beginning. Let's make no mistake about it. The Unitarian type presence had been around from the beginning, since Judaism. And this one particular guy keeps following me around, passing these comments. Well, one of them was that, I done slipped my mind. I'm not even going to worry about it. But you keep passing these comments. You're nothing more than the Pharisees. You're invested in your position. Come hell or high water. You know that you know that you know. What the Pharisees did too. They knew that they knew that they knew. And it wasn't just the fact that new teaching was brought, because it was in the scriptures. It said that he would write his law on his heart, their hearts. He told them these things were coming. And they refused. They refused to weigh the evidence. That is what you should avoid. Weigh the evidence, no matter what anyone says. And you say some of the most foolish things when you post these comments, and they eject all of known history. They eject the beliefs of the Jews. Yeah, that was the commenting path. It just popped back into my head. Yeah, that you side with the Jews, and they didn't believe it. They rejected Jesus. Need I remind you that the Jews were also the first ones to believe in Jesus? Idiocy. Pure emotion. That's what a 3-year-old does. So I'm going to stop. Do yourself a favor. Remain teachable. Whether you agree with me or anyone else, remain teachable. Remain in a position where you can weigh the evidence, look at it objectively, and say, there are some points that I have to admit. There are some things I need to look at. And you'll be better. You'll be a better person after you investigate this. Whatever it is, you'll be more knowledgeable about God and the scriptures. But to just out of hand emotionally object to an argument and throw it away is the modern day Pharisee. That's what you are. I consider real arguments, even Trinitarian ones. I look at them. I need to, because I don't know it all, because I'm not, an apostle directly from God. I am stumbling through my life, holding on to the bits of truth that I see forming before me. So I always check into things. Always. I never assume I'm just right just because I've been on this path. So remain teachable. God bless.